Hey everyone, I have a devotional thought for you for today. And I've decided that over the next couple weeks, as we start to do some of these devotionals, I wanted to walk through the story of Joseph. Joseph, this is the Old Testament Joseph, not the father of Jesus, Joseph. Joseph has so many great elements and parts and different things that going on in his story that I think it's worth walking through step by step because there's something to learn all along the way. So, if you want to find the story of Joseph, it's in Genesis, and it starts in chapter 37. Basically, here's the backstory. Joseph was the youngest son of Jacob, the great patriarch of the Jewish people. Jacob, who had wrestled with God on the side, Jacob, who had stolen the blessing from Esau. This Jacob was his father, and Joseph was the youngest son of Jacob. And he was his most favorite because he was born in a time where Jacob had already thought that he wasn't going to have any more kids, that he was born in Jacob's age. So Jacob loved him a little more than the other ones. He was definitely the favorite. And he praised him. He showed him his love in ways that he didn't show the other sons. And it made the other sons jealous. It made them want more and despise Joseph more and more for what he was and for what Jacob did to him or for him. We're going to pick up today in verse 18 of chapter 37, and this is basically Joseph on his way out to go see the rest of his brothers who are tending the field. So Joseph went after his brothers and found them at Dothan. They saw him from a distance, and before he came near to them, they conspired to kill him. They said to one another, "Here comes this dreamer. Come now, let us kill him and throw him into one of the pits. Then we shall say that a wild animal has devoured him, and we shall see what will become of his dreams." But when Reuben heard it, Reuben, one of his brothers, he delivered him out of their hands, saying, "Let us not take his life." Reuben said to them, "Shed no blood, throw him into the pit here in the wilderness, but lay no hand on him, that he might rescue him out of their hand and restore him to his father." Reuben was going to try to be the hero here of bringing Joseph back. So when Joseph came to his brothers, they stripped him of his robe, the long robe with sleeves that he wore, and took him and threw him into the pit. The pit was empty and there was no water in it. It goes on that as they sit there that they choose to sell their brother into slavery because they do agree that maybe killing him is a little too much, but they decide they're going to profit from this in some way, so they sell him to some passing traders. And the story will continue on as we go over the next couple weeks, but this part of the story is significant because it teaches us that no matter where we are at or what we think is going on, there's always going to be evil in the world. The evil in this story came from his brothers, people that he loved, that he grew up with, that were the closest thing to him, his own family. And while they had some reason in what they were doing, they didn't, Joseph had been spouting off. Joseph had been saying, they kept calling him a dreamer in this passage because Joseph had had these dreams in which everybody was bowing down to him. And the brothers didn't like that. Maybe they were okay with the dad liking him a little more, but as soon as Joseph starts saying that they're all going to bow down to him, this is kind of where things start to unravel. So it's important to remember that man's nature, the nature of all people, is one of sin. It comes from the original sin of Adam, that given the opportunity, the average person chooses sin over righteousness. And no matter where we are at, we always have to guard our hearts from sin. These brothers never intended to blaspheme God. They didn't intend to, turn the world upside down as it kind of ends up doing. But they had evil in their hearts. They were jealous. They were angry. And Joseph never saw it coming. He didn't prepare himself, and he suffered the consequences because of it. So I know it's a little depressing and it's a little sad to think about, but you always need to remember that people in the world are always out for themselves. We as Christians are set aside different because we think about other people first. Remember that the heart of man is always a heart of sin, and that we have to try to overcome that in our own lives, and we need to encourage those around us to try to overcome that. As we continue through the story, we'll learn more and more about Joseph and his adventures and the things that he gets to learn. It's a great passage we'll go through over the next couple weeks. Again, if anybody needs anything, you know how to get a hold of me. I look forward to seeing you all soon. I hope you share the videos and post them to wherever you feel like it so more people can maybe spend this time and get a little closer to God. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you another day.